Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to take inorganic acid and bases. We will take very important points about these acid and bases based on questions, right? We will discuss this topic based on many questions. So, and in the end of this video we will also take a question from CSI and NET. Then first thing is we should know that what type of different type of acids and bases like Bronsted acid bases, Arrhenius acid bases, Lewis acid bases. So I will not go in the basic details of how we can classify them. We all know that what is Bronsted acid and bases. According to Bronsted theory, acid which donate protons and bases which can accept proton, right? So sometimes you can have different type of species that don't participate in proton transfer because they don't have protons, so we cannot classify them into acids and bases according to Bronsted theory, right? So this type of system is called as solvent system definition of acid and bases. We can compare them with water. Means if you are doing the self ionization of water, what you will get, you will get H3O plus and OH minus, right? Means water is showing self ionization. It can form H plus and OH minus. H plus can be written in the form of H3O plus. It will combine with water molecule to form H3O plus. Means if you have acid in the solution, in aqueous solution, it will increase the concentration of H ion, right? Basically Bronsted acid which donate protons in the aqueous solution. So we can compare our species which doesn't have any proton. We can compare it with the self ionization of water. What is the meaning of it? Means suppose you have BrF3. It doesn't have any proton. So how you can classify it? You can do its self ionization. Similar to water, it can also show self ionization. Means it will give you BrF2 plus and BrF4 minus. It is showing similar type of self ionization. Means if I am using species in the solution of BrF3 and if it is generating the increasing the amount of cation similar to H3O plus, if it is increasing the amount of cation, it will be called as acid, because in acid what is happening, that it is increasing the amount of cation H plus, right? Similarly, if concentration of cation is increasing, that species will be called as acid, and if the amount of anion is increasing, it will be called as base. Let's see this example, that BrF2AsF6 is acid or base in BrF3, right? First you have to identify for this one. So if I will dissolve it in BrF3, what will happen? It will give me BrF2 plus and AsF6 minus. So it is increasing the concentration of cation, and if it is increasing the concentration of cation, means we can compare it with the H3O plus. So what it is? It is a acid, right? We can do comparison with the water. So in this particular case we have BrF3. We can have different type of solvents like ammonia. So in case of ammonia, you will have NH4 plus and NH2 minus. So if a species is increasing the amount of NH4 plus, it will be called as acid. You can compare it with directly with H3O plus. So don't need to remember it. Simply compare it with the water. And other can be possible is POCl3. POCl3 will undergo self ionization. It will show formation of POCl2 plus and POCl4 minus. One more is N2O4. It will undergo self ionization. It will form NO plus and NO3 minus. We have another example here. KBrF4 is acid or base in BrF3. So we will do its dissociation first. What it will generate? It will generate K plus and BrF4 minus. So it is increasing the amount of anion, means it is comparable with OH minus, means it will act as base, right? Next we will move to what are aqua acid, hydroxo acid and oxo acid. So first we will take aqua acid. Aqua acid means suppose you have this complex, right? So in this complex this is acting as a acid, and this acidity is due to the proton donated by the water molecule present in this coordination of this iron. You have this complex, right? And its acidic nature is due to the proton donation by water molecule attached with this central metal atom. So this type of acid will be called as aqua acid. When it will donate a proton, it will form OH, and its this positive charge will decrease to +2, right? Second one is hydroxo acid. Hydroxo acid means you have only OH group attached. There will be no neighboring oxo group. Oxo group is double bond O. If you don't have any oxo group present in your acid, it will be called as hydroxo acid. Suppose you have a metal and all are OH in it, right? It is attached with all OH. There is no double bond O. This is the structure, and its acidic nature is due to the proton donation from this OH. Then we have oxo acid. Our most of the time we are in organic chemistry we deal with oxo acid. So what is oxo acid? That you have this oxo group and next to it you can have OH. This one will be your oxo acid, like sulfuric acid, H2SO4. So it is your oxo acid. You can have different type of acids of phosphorus, nitrogen, they all are oxo acid. Then next is acidic strength of aqua acids. Aqua acids means in which we have proton water molecules coordinated with central metal atom, and then proton will be donated from the water molecule. This is called your aqua acid. And in case of aqua acid, strength, acidic strength increases with charge on positive charge, cationic charge, you can call it as cationic charge. If cationic charge is increasing and size decreases, if size decreases, then these two conditions will lead to increase in acidic strength. So acidic strength increases if cationic charge increases and size reduces, and this concept is due to the ionic nature of central metal atom and the proton. They will repel each other, and if the positive charge increases on central metal atom, it can easily repel the proton. According to ionic model, this as the charge increases and size decreases linearly, pKa decreases linearly. pKa decreases means acidic strength increases. This is a linear relationship. But for some cations, this acidic strength increases much more than predicted. This is due to generation of covalent character in them. Covalent character in them. And how you will recognize that covalent character is increases? You can first understand it. What is the region of increase in acidic strength due to increase in covalent character? What is happening that when covalent character is increases, this positive charge can delocalize over the ligand also. Suppose according to ionic model, this is your central metal atom and this is ligand, right? Suppose this is the situation. So these two are separated from each other and will repel each other, but according to covalent concept, this charge is not centered over one atom, it is delocalized in nature. So this positive charge is also delocalized over this ligand, and when it is delocalized means it can more effectively repel this proton. So as the covalent character increases, this acidic strength further increases, right? So for D block elements, this covalent character is much higher than other type of cations. This covalent character is much higher, that is why their acidic strength is also very high for D block, heavy D block elements. This point is important. For heavy D block elements, this covalent character is much higher, so the pKa value will be much less than predicted. Now we can do our question. First question is this one. So you have to find out what is the order of acidic strength. So first thing is we have to look at the charge. So charge is smallest for this one and this one, right? They both of them have +2 charge and these two have +3 charge, but this one is your heavy D block element, so for it the covalent character will be much higher, that is why its acidic strength will be much higher. So the lowest will be for this one, because if you compare the size, this is larger in size than aluminium +3, so this will be lowest in acidic strength. Then you can place this Fe +3 charge, because charge is increased but size is still higher than this aluminium +3. Next will be your this aluminium complex, and these two have almost similar strength, although its charge is small, but due to its covalent character its acidic strength is higher. Next we will take this example. So in this case we don't have any heavy D block element, right? So don't worry about it. So first we have to look at the charge and size. So in this case sodium has the lowest charge and small and largest size, so its acidic strength will be weakest, or you can give it number 1, 2, 3 and 4. So sodium will have weakest acidic strength. Then we will see this charge. So in this case this scandium has highest charge, then and these all belongs to same period, right? Scandium has 21, manganese 25 and nickel is 28, so they all belongs to same period, so their size will decrease when we move from left to right. But first we have to look at the charge. It has highest charge, but because they belongs to same period there is not so much variation in the size, right? So we have to look at the charge first. Scandium will have highest acidic strength because it has highest charge. Then we can compare these two have same charge but size will be smaller for nickel, so its acidic strength will be next to scandium complex. Then we will have this manganese complex, right? This is true for aqua acids only. We are talking about aqua acids here. Then we can take oxo acid. So I have already told you that what are the oxo acids. So we know the general thing that if you have this sulfuric acid and if you are replacing this OH with a electronegative element, higher electronegative element, then its acidic strength will increase. We all know about it, so I will not go in that detail. We will check what are the important things here. First thing is Pauli's rule, Pauling's rule. So what the Pauling rule says, according to Pauling rule, as number of oxygen atom in mononuclear oxo acid increases, its acidic strength increases, right? So suppose I have different oxo acids of chlorine, right? HClO4, HClO3, HClO2 and then HClO, right? So in this case we can easily predict that as the oxygen atom increases, acidic strength increases. Similarly, sulfuric acid H2SO4 is much stronger than H2SO3. HNO3 is stronger than HNO2. we can explain these all. But in case of oxo acids of phosphorus, this concept fails. We cannot apply this concept in case of acidic strength of oxo acids of phosphorus. One more thing, you can also compare this thing with the oxidation number. As the oxidation number increases, acidic strength increases for this type of monoacids, mononuclear oxoacids. But in case of oxoacids of phosphorus, if you apply this thing, the order will be, the acidic strength will be of this order. But this is wrong. We have just opposite of it. This is wrong, right? So what is happening here? First we have to draw its structure. So whenever you are drawing the structure of oxo acid, first write down this double bond O, then you can place other things. This is your H3O, H3PO4. So if this H3PO4 donate a proton, means it is acting as an acid, it will form a conjugate base like this. And this stability of conjugate base defines the acidic strength of this acid. If stability of conjugate base is higher, then acidic strength will be higher. But in this particular case, if you look at the stability, we have here this resonance, but due to this OH, it can show cross conjugation, right? And this, due to cross conjugation, the stability of this conjugate base decreases. Stability decreases. We have here 2 OH which can hinder and decreases the stability. In case of H3PO3, you have this one, and when you donate a proton, you will have this conjugate base. Now you have 1 OH which can decreases the stability, so it is more stable than this conjugate base, but it's still, it is not stable. If you are taking H3PO2 and you are forming its conjugate base, there is no cross conjugation, right? It is stable. That is why you have the correct order H3PO2, then H3PO3, and then H3PO4. This is the correct order of acidity. Then we will check the acidic strength of these three. So whenever you are removing a proton, a single first proton will be removed, you will get this H2PO4 minus. Then if you remove one more proton, you will get HPO4 2 minus, and if you remove one more proton, you will get PO4 3 minus. So at first time when you are removing, there is no negative charge on this H3PO4, right? So its removal is easier. When you are removing a proton from H2PO4 minus, there is a negative charge which binds the proton, right? So release of proton is not easy in that case. So in that case, the pK value is higher than this one. Higher means its acidic strength will be lower. So acidic strength will be higher for H3PO4, and in this particular case H3PO, here we will have H2PO4 minus and HPO4 2 minus, right? So its acidic strength will be weaker than this one because it has 2 negative charge. So this will be your correct order. Then here is a rule, we have a rule given by Pauling, which according to which we can approximate the pKa value. This rule is not 100% true, but we can approximately give a value of a acid, of oxo acid, and this rule is OPOHQ. P is the number of oxo oxygens, right, and Q is the number of OH. So for hydroxo acid means there is no oxo group, right? Your metal is directly connected with, your element is directly connected with different OH. There is no M double bond O, right? So this P value is 0 for it. So for this one, pKa value is nearly equal to 8 minus 5p. So if p is 0, then pKa value will be nearly equal to 8, right? So in this way you can approximate the value. Suppose you have H2SO4, so for this one you have this structure, oxo acids are 2. If you will place the value of 2 in this formula, you will get -2, right? And its pK value is almost equal to -2. Then next is Lewis acid and bases. We all know Lewis acid are the species which accept electrons and bases which can donate electrons. So let's check our knowledge in case of these examples. BrF3 plus F minus and BrF4 minus. So in this particular case, this BrF3 is acting as Lewis acid because it is accepting electrons from this F minus, right? And it is forming BrF4 minus. That is why it will act as Lewis acid. Then in this case, you can write down this in this form, then it will be easier to understand. So this H minus is going from this KH with this H plus of H2O to form H2, right? So this H minus is adding electron in the water, right? That is why this KH is acting as a base here, Lewis base. It is donating electrons. Then we can see alkali metal in water. So your alkali metal when coordinated with water, so lone pair of electron present on water, oxygen of water, will be donated to alkali metals. So these alkali metals will act as Lewis acid in this case, and it is act as Lewis base. But if you are using the fluoride of the cesium in this particular case, then it is providing F minus, which will be attached with this SF4 to form SF5 minus, means it is donating its electron to SF4. So it is acting as Lewis base here. So the definition of Lewis acid and base depends what are the condition. It is not true for, you cannot generalize thing, you have to check the reaction conditions. Then we can, this is very good example, compare the acidic Lewis acid strength of BBr3, BCl3, BF3. So you can think that if I am attaching a electronegative atom like fluorine to a element which is electron deficient in nature, boron is electron deficient, we all know that its p orbital is empty, right? And due to its empty p orbital, it is good Lewis acid. All the halides, trihalides of boron, aluminum, all are good Lewis acid. They all can accept electron. They have, you can construct a structure, they have a planar structure like this, and a p orbital which is perpendicular to it is empty, and electron can be donated in it, right? It can act as a good Lewis acid. So now we want to compare the acidic strength of these three halides. So we can think it like this, that we have a electronegative atom attached here. So this electronegative atom will pull electron density toward it, so it will act as a better Lewis acid as compared to BBr3 and BCl3. But if you have studied p pi back bonding, then you can easily understand it. P pi back bonding give this trihalides of boron planar structures, like, right? And this back bonding is best for boron and fluorine because they belongs to same period, their orbital size is almost same, so they can show better p pi back bonding. So their p pi back bonding is stronger, and to donate electron in the p orbital of boron, this back bonding will be broken. We have to break that bonding, right? And it is very difficult to break that bonding in case of BF3. That is why its acidic strength is weaker as compared to others. So remember this case, it is important. But if you are talking about other halides, there is no back bonding, so acidic strength will be according to our normal concept, that as the acidic electron withdrawing group attached in the molecule, acidic strength increases. Okay, similar thing can be observed for other halides, like we are talking about germanium, tin halides. The same concept will be followed, that as the electronegative nature of halide attached increases, acidic strength increases. Then Lewis basic nature of this one and this is very interesting example. So you can understand it that all things are common except we have carbon and silicon here. Silicon can expand its valency, right? Expand its valency means the electron present on oxygen which can be donated, right? We are talking about the Lewis basic nature. Lewis basic nature means these electrons can be donated, that is why it is acting as a Lewis base. These two are acting as a Lewis base. Now if we want to compare their strength, their basic strength is compared. So if it can expand its valency, means it can show better delocalization of electron. What is the meaning of it? Means these pair of electron are delocalized over the silicon, means they are not easily available as they are in this case, because carbon cannot expand its valency, so these two electrons are not delocalized, they are easy to be given, right? That is why its basic Lewis basic character is higher than this one. You can also have nitrogen in place of oxygen, but the thing will remain same. Okay, then next is SO2 act as Lewis acid as well as base. It can act as both. It can accept electron because sulfur can expand its valency, so it can accept electrons from ammonia or other electron donating groups, other Lewis bases, so it can act as Lewis acid as well as Lewis base. It can donate electrons through sulfur or through oxygen. Both electrons can be donated depending upon the condition. Next we have one more thing is we have SO3. SO3 can also act as Lewis acid and Lewis base, but its Lewis base character is weaker as compared to SO2. Then next is I2 or Br2 dissolved in acetone. So you should have a knowledge about MOT of iodine and bromine. If you remember that in case of MOT we have discussed that in case of halogen LVMO is sigma star, right? So these halogens can accept electron in this sigma star orbital, and acetone or other polar solvents, due to the presence of oxygen, they can donate electrons. We can have water also, we can have alcohol, these all can donate electrons to iodine or bromine, right? So in this case these two will act as Lewis acid and acetone or other polar solvent will act as Lewis base. Then next we will have a question from June 2017. Now you can easily do this question. It is very simple. You have to match all these things. So first one is you have SbF5 and BrF3, and in reaction you have BrF2 plus, right, and SbF6 minus. So this BrF3 is giving a F minus to this SbF5, or you can say it is giving electron, because they are talking about Lewis acid and basic character, so we have to compare about the electron giving nature. We cannot compare it with this concept, this solvent system definition. We cannot compare it with this because it is according to Bronsted acid. You can have the correct answer according to that one also, but the right approach is to follow the correct theory. So according to Lewis acid base theory, it is giving electron to this SbF5, that is why it is acting as a Lewis base. So first should go with B, Lewis base behavior of BrF3. Then we will take this one, suppose fourth. So you have first with B in fourth and in second. Now we have to DD is common in both of them. Both second is going with D, means neutralization, or you can easily recognize it, it is neutralization reaction. Then third is with C and or A. Third is that this K is giving its F to BrF3, means BrF3 is accepting this electron from F of this Kf. It is accepting electron, means it is acting as a Lewis acid, right? So third should go with A. C is not possible, it is not self ionization, right? So third will go with A, and self ionization is very obvious. This fourth one, we have studied this part in solvent system theory of acid base, that BrF3, POCl3, N2O4, they all can show self ionization. So fourth will go with C. So your correct answer will be fourth, not second. The correct option will be fourth, right? So that's all about this video. We have studied a very important topics. I hope all things will be clear to you, and if you like my videos, please share my videos with your friends, and thank you so much for watching.